What's up, everybody? Coach Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Valorant video. And in this video, we get to break down a clip where Hiko goes on to say that ELO hell does not exist flat out. And we're going to be breaking down what he said. Is Hiko right, wrong, or is there some gray area in between? We're going to be breaking all that down and give you actionable tips and tricks, so smash the like, subscribe, but go to the GameLeap website right now, and the links down below for in-depth weapon guides and agent courses. We got everything that you possibly need on the GameLeap website, so go check it out right now down below. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. So on Hiko's stream, he actually said this, and we're going to play the clip, and then we're going to talk about it. Let's roll it.
How do you get the F out of ELO hell? To me, people that think they're stuck in ELO hell is literally their rank. If you're in ELO hell, most likely that is your rank. I hate to say it. If you're sitting here in like silver, one game you win, one game you lose, one game you get owned, one game you, that's literally your rank. Like, I hate to say it. People are improving at this game at a very, very fast rate. A lot of CS people that have years of experience are moving over. That's your rank, bro. That's not ELO hell. That's literally just your rank, dude. So, you know, I feel like, yeah, I don't know.
Now in this video, basically Hiko says that ELO hell doesn't exist, and that if you're consistently in your rank for too long, that's not ELO hell, that's just your rank. Now, before we jump into whether or not Hiko is right or wrong here, let's talk about something else he specifically said, which is CSGO players are transitioning and people are rapidly improving in the game of Valorant right now. Now, here's a really important concept that everyone needs to understand, and that's every single person that is playing Valorant collectively is getting better at the game. This is something that happens with every single game, and it's going to happen with Valorant as well. In fact, it already has happened. If you look at people that were really, really good at the start of the game, a lot of the time, people that are only decently good now are as good as those really, really good people were back then. Especially as a tactical shooter enters the mainstream audience, a lot of people are getting used to the gunplay and the movement and the specific aspects of a tactical shooter that only CSGO players before were privy to. On top of that, the collective learned knowledge about economy, about abilities, about rollouts, about tactics with rotation and teleporters and how things work. This is all being learned by everyone, regardless of their skill level or rank level. They are learning these things slowly and surely. Now, the example that I always use is the Fortnite example, where if you think about like season 1 or 2 in that game, people just, you know, no one knew how to build or do anything, but now there's freaking 12-year-old kids snorting G Fuel and just like cranking 90s and editing like crazy. And if you didn't play for like the past 10 seasons, you're just gonna get rolled, right? Now, it's not quite happened yet to that extent, but it is happening in Valorant, and that really can create the ELO hell environment when people are improving, but you're not improving as fast as the slow rate of improvement of everybody. This means hypothetically, you could be a player that is stuck in gold, but you are a lot better than you used to be playing this game for 6+ months, but you're not better than the average gold player improving as well, because the rank as a whole is getting better. Now, before we tell you some tips and tricks about how to break through that, let's go back and revisit what Hiko said about you playing a certain amount of games and you belong in your rank. Now, in general, I agree with this. After a certain amount of games, you will be at the rank you quote unquote deserve, but there is a lot of important information that is just not included here that I think I should include because it's not that simple. The first thing that you need to understand is the state that you are in when you play those games, that can really affect the rank that you deserve or earn, right? So if you're tired, not warmed up, if you're tilted, these can affect your games. And imagine if you play like 30 games, right? Which a lot of people would consider a reasonable amount of games to figure out what rank you are, but 10 of those you're dead tired, 2 of those or 3 of those you're not warmed up, and then, you know, 5 of those you're tilted. It doesn't give you an accurate summation of what your rank should be because you are not playing consistently in these games. You are not playing to the best of your ability. So, of course, you're not going to get the rank that you deserve when taking into account your peak performance or your optimal performance. And the next thing that you need to understand is that you're not going to be the same at the end of enough games to determine your rank as you were at the beginning. Let's go back to that 30 game example. So, if you play 30 games, right? Yeah, you determine your your rank. However, at the end of those 30 games, you were going to be a better player than you were at the beginning of those 30 games. Now, we're going to touch back on this in a second, but before we get to that, we need to talk about the core of the issue involving ELO Hell, which the idea of ELO Hell, just flat out, is that there's such a bad ranked environment that it feels like what you do doesn't matter. Because of coin flips, because of throwers, because of smurfs, things like that basically affect ranked so poorly that you just have non-games. And I think when a lot of people really think about it, that's just not true. Now, well, yes, some amount of your games are going to have some throwers, right? Some amount of your games are going to have some smurfs on the enemy team that just roll you. However, if you have played a lot of games, you know, that 30 plus that I'm talking about in, you know, a week's time frame, you can't tell me that even the majority of those games had those problems. Now, sure, sometimes people will play 1, 2, 3 games and have some of these, and they'll be like, rank sucks, I don't want to play it at all. However, that's not a big enough sample size to deem that ranked is just flawed, flat out. And on top of that, you're not even getting to the rank that you quote unquote deserve at all, because you're not even playing enough games in the first place. And of course you're not going to improve, or you're going to improve at an extremely slow rate if you're only playing a tiny amount. We talked about how every single person is improving that plays the game, but if you just take a break or don't play or just play very little, then the average rate of improvement for everyone around you is going to be going up. So in the time you're playing, you're improving, but then you're not playing enough, so everyone else is improving, and you're basically just staying with that flow, right? You're staying with that current. You're not going faster than it, and you're always going to be at the rank that you're in, or you might even regress. Now, that being said, I do understand that some games are going to be unfair, but that is every ranked system ever. There's just nothing you could do about it, but we do not say that every ranked system doesn't matter. If we believe that, then none of us would ever play any ranked game or any competitive game ever, and that's just not true. And while I know the system is not perfect, it's still a pretty decent ranked system. Valor is actually probably one of the better ranked systems that I've played. Now, the next thing that you gotta understand about ELO Hell is that improvements can feel like grains of sand, and this is something that happens a lot to people where they get really discouraged because they feel like they are not improving at all. Like, they play and play and play, and they just don't leave their rank. They win, lose, win, lose. Well, I say it's like grains of sand because every single day you automatically learn a little bit, and there's little pieces of sand that kind of fill you up, but you're not gonna actually rise to the next level until enough of those accumulate, right? You're not gonna just improve overnight. You're not gonna just magically just grind and then one day you're gonna be freaking radiant. That's just not how it happens. It happens very slow, and a lot of times you're not gonna feel that improvement. However, I do have some tips to make you feel a lot better about your improvement. And what I would suggest you do is every day or every 2 days, learn something that can directly affect your gameplay, in addition to the stuff that you learn subconsciously. Now, the stuff you learn subconsciously, just how to play, how to make decisions, you know, the decisions that you make on a micro level in your games. However, the big things that have a direct effect, like rollouts or simple text, that's stuff that you can feel right away. Like, if you win a round with a rollout that you learned yesterday, you're like, hey, I'm better than the me a week ago, because the me a week ago wouldn't have won this round because he didn't know that damn rollout. And that's a really cool way to, you know, encourage yourself and kind of feel the improvement. When specifically like gunplay, that's really hard to feel the improvement sometimes, because small changes to your gunplay doesn't mean that you're just gonna win every single fight. And it's not like you didn't win gunfights before. You just might win slightly more gunfights in slightly different situations, but that's hard to see, unlike the previous example that I gave with the rollouts. The next thing that you need to understand is that there will be periods of slow increase and speed increase. This happens in pretty much every single game. Sometimes people break through thresholds of skill, or they will have bursts of breakthroughs themselves where things just click together and everything works. Imagine a player that really knows the game, really understands a lot of different aspects of the character, like rollouts and different text with the character. However, their gunplay is just bad to the point where they can't capitalize on their knowledge, but at one point they break through. You know, they've been grinding, they slowly start to break through, and then all at once they just kind of break through that aiming problem that they have, and now they're just kind of smooth sailing and they go up an entire rank. This can happen to a lot of people. So sometimes if you're just grinding and grinding and grinding, you're not improving that fast. It's really about figuring out what is holding you back. What is that one stoppage that is kind of preventing you from really making it to that next level if you know that, hey, I have the game sense of this rank, or hey, I'm making really good decisions here, but I'm not winning my fights. Whatever it is, you need to figure out what that is, and that's really gonna help you really get through those slow increases. And that's why some people are really good at improving quickly. It's because they know this skill, the skill of figuring out exactly what they're weak in and trying to fix that right away. The next thing that you need to understand is that there's typically gonna be a recoil with huge win streaks. A lot of times people, you know, they lose faith in the rank system when they win a whole bunch of games, like 10 in a row, and then they just start deranking rapidly. It's a rebound. It happens to everybody, especially if you win on a giant win streak. A lot of the time, some of those games are going to be pretty lucky, because even if you're playing way better than you used to, you're still not going to win every game. But if you do, then a lot of times there's a little bit of RNG involved, and that's going to blow back on you, or you're going to end up a little bit overextended compared to what your skill level is at. And that's perfectly fine. You just gotta understand that that's just part of the rank system. That's just part of improvement. Now, the last thing that you need to understand, the last thing that's gonna help you get out of ELO hell, and it has to do with competitive anxiety. You see, maintaining a rank is easier than climbing, but a lot of times people will reach whatever rank they want to get to. Plat, Diamond, Immortal, and when they get there, instead of just continuing to play, continuing to grind, they don't want to lose their rank. They want to, you know, keep it pretty and, you know, show off to their friends, their mother, whatever, and they just won't play, and then they'll only smurf, or they'll only play every once in a while, just so that their rank still shows. And that's the easiest way to kind of lose a lot of your skill. That's the easiest way to start to regress. Sure, you can maybe maintain that rank by playing every once in a while, but not only are you just gonna start to lose out against people that are playing every single day and they're just gonna get better than you, but there's no point in having competitive anxiety at the cost of your improvement. So all in all, let's answer the question. Is Hiko right? Well, yes and no. And I think that you understand exactly what I mean when I say yes and no, but I think it's important to understand that it's way more complicated than it seems, and I hope this video helped you realize that. But smash the like and subscribe, go to the GameLeap website in the links down below for in-depth advanced guides, reviews, and tips and tricks, as well as more tips on how to break through your limits and climb. But thank you so much for coming by. I hope you enjoyed the video. I love your faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.